Networking and Marketing Made Simple is for you, the business owner that has a product, service, or a message that you truly believe in. Each week, we'll take a behind the scenes look at real world networking and marketing tactics, leveraging LinkedIn to get what you have in front of many more people. Thanks for spending time with me, and let's get started. Hey there, and welcome back to another dual episode of Networking and Marketing Made Simple and the Entrepreneur Rescue Mission. This is Scott Aaron along with my beautiful co-host and wife, Nancy.
Hello, hello.
So again, we're doing a little bit of a, I would say, theme or little micro-themed episodes. And we went over your LinkedIn profile in our previous episode. And what we're going to be talking about today is the importance of building the right kind of network on LinkedIn. And I really want to kind of, really dive into this because for those that obviously haven't noticed, many of you have, LinkedIn has changed drastically with how it's being used, and I would say even almost monetized in the last couple of years. And there are still people out there that are claiming it still works the same exact way, which it's not. I'm just going to be open, honest. I had to shift my strategy, my technique, my teachings, Nancy as well, because it was glaring that things had changed. But before we dive into all that, we just want to remind you that our first free workshop of 2024 is coming up. It is from January 22nd to January 26th. It is from 1 to 2 p.m. EST, live and recorded. Everyone gets a workbook, access to a private Facebook group for community, and it's called the Amateur to Expert 5-Day LinkedIn Workshop. So yes, we are going to be taking you from being a LinkedIn amateur to a LinkedIn expert in only 5 days. So this is going to be all the updates that you need to know, all the different things within your LinkedIn profile, building your network, connecting, messaging, lead gen, sales acquisition, but also content creation. So again, if interested, just go to the description of this episode, grab the link, get yourself signed up, and we'll see you on the inside in the workshop. So let's dive into today's episode. So Nancy, when we talk about the building the right kind of network on LinkedIn, when someone says, Nancy, what does that mean, build the right kind of network on LinkedIn? How would you answer that?
Well, I think with every social media platform that you are on, you should have goals, right? So, what is your goal for LinkedIn? Is your goal to network and connect with your ideal clients? Great, right? That's going to affect the people that you're connecting with. Is your goal to really reach out and make more referral partners, or what Scott calls, what do you call it now? It was power partners, business allies.
Business allies.
Allies, that's right. So, first, I think you have to be super intentional on what you're doing there. So that's step number one. So, number two, so let's say that you want to use LinkedIn to connect with your ideal client. Okay. And it's a great way to use LinkedIn. But the reason why we want to connect with the people who are our ideal clients are because, as you grow your connections, a couple things are going to happen. Those people, right, who accept your connection are going to see your profile. They're going to see your content. They're also going to be able to be invited, right, personally by you to events that you have, different things like that. So it'll really open up new doors and different things from that aspect. So, yes, you need to get very specific on who it is that you want to connect with. Now, I also like to teach, and this is kind of what I teach my clients as well. We shouldn't just be connecting with everyone, right? Your services and your products are not for everyone. In fact, I listened to a really great YouTube video this morning where Seth Godin was interviewing someone, and he was asking him and kind of grilling him around marketing questions. And he said one of the best things that you can do is realize that your services and what you do is not for everyone, right? When you are able to get niche and specific on who you help, you can get there. And when I say there, I mean you can be successful a lot quicker, right? Because you're not spreading yourself thin. You're targeting who you're connecting with. You're tailoring your communication and your content a lot better to those ideal people. And they're in turn going to resonate a lot more with it. So, you know, it's important to know who you are connecting with, because then that is really going to be everything else stemming from that. You know, the content that you're creating, the events that you're putting out there, the way that you're providing value. So, yeah, it's extremely important, you know, who you decide to connect with, and try to get as specific as, you know, it could be location, it could be industry, it could be job title. So start to think through those things as you start connecting with people on LinkedIn.
Yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk talks about that your net worth is always in direct correlation to your network, because I think people have severely devalued the idea of net like the marketing aspect of connections and relationships. So relationship marketing. And the best way to build relationships online is through LinkedIn right now, because everyone is seeking power partners, they're seeking collaboration, they're seeking ways to co-work together in some way, shape, or form, introduce you to other people. There was an old methodology called the spray and pray method, where you would just go onto LinkedIn, you would just connect with anyone and everyone. It was called the race to 30,000, since you're allowed 30,000 connections, and it got people nowhere. It gave you the vanity look that, oh man, this person has a ton of connections, they must be doing really great things. But if you're not being clear and specific with who you're connecting with, meaning you're not being dialed into the professional title, the industry, the location, maybe even the educational background that you and that other person may have in shared interest, number one, whether they accept your connection request or not, it's not going to go any further than that, because there's no connection point. So as Nancy said, I always talk about the two types of connections: ideal client and business ally. You need to make sure that every single connection of yours on LinkedIn is value added, where if you were going to make a connection, you were going to have a conversation, there would be a very, really good outcome from that, which could be a business opportunity or some business collaboration. And that's the thing. The more clear you are with your connection strategy, the more clear you're going to be with your connection strategy result. And that's the thing. People ask us all the time, how do you and your clients continue to monetize their efforts and your efforts on LinkedIn? We're not doing anything fancy. So anyone out there that's telling you, oh, it's a numbers game, it's not a numbers game. It's a quality game. It's not the quantity of the connections you have. It's not the quantity of messages that you're sending. It's not the quantity of conversations that you're having. It's the quality of those connections. It's the quality of the messages, and it's the quality of the conversations. So you will fall flat on your face if you just go on there and you connect with anyone and everyone, because it's going to be unrelatable, not just to you, but to the other person. You need to really put yourself in the position of, okay, what type of connection can I have where even just through the content that I'm going to produce is going to leave that person better, where they're just seeing such significant value in having you as a connection that whether you end up talking to that person ever on the phone or on a Zoom, it doesn't matter. You've just built that rapport. And that's the thing. When you build the right kind of network and then you create the right type of content that feeds to that network, you're going to generate leads and sales and clients just from that. So making sure that you are putting one of your top priorities to build the most ideal network as possible, I mean, it's paramount. Now, here's the thing. If you have spent any significant time on LinkedIn following this spray and pray methodology, or maybe you've even shifted the business that you're in, maybe your ideal client is in a different profession or a different industry. The question that Nancy and I get from people: should I go back and remove connections? Now, if it's a significant difference between who you're targeting now to who you were targeting, and there is really no value in those connections, then yeah, you may have to take some time and you may have to start removing some connections to leave room for others to be invited to come into that. So it's not a bad thing. People clean this up all the time. Nancy and I were just cleaning up our Facebook friends list just a few minutes ago, because there's a lot of people that end up deactivating their accounts. And unlike LinkedIn, where you're allowed 30,000 connections, Facebook, you're only allowed 5,000. So you have to be very clear and specific about who you're going to be connected with on social media. So if you do find yourself having this robust network of connections on LinkedIn that doesn't serve you and you don't serve them, it's not going to be such a bad thing to go back and remove a few hundred, even a few thousand connections over time that will make room for other people. Nance, any last thoughts or feelings around the importance of building the right kind of network on LinkedIn?
I just, I'll say it again, and I know we said this on previous episodes, if you're not on LinkedIn or you don't know, that LinkedIn is a place where you should be, well, let me tell you that every single person, again, whether you own a business, whether you, are eventually going to be looking for a job, whether you are just literally anyone, I think you should have a profile on LinkedIn. Where else can you really, list all the different things that you've done, your skills, your abilities, your recommendations, all kinds of things in one place so that no matter what it is, right? I think even I joke because whenever Scott and I first started dating, what's the first thing I did? As soon as I knew what his name was, I Googled him. So what you put on your LinkedIn profile goes out there, and it's a great place to really showcase and, tell a nice story about you. So if you're not on LinkedIn, I recommend you get on LinkedIn.
Yep. So again, anyone that is interested in learning more about the proper way to build your network on LinkedIn, find the right connections, find the right business allies, we're going to be teaching all that and more in our Amateur to Expert 5-day LinkedIn workshop. Again, it is from January 22nd to the 26th from 1 to 2 p.m. EST, live and recorded. Everyone gets a workbook, free access to a private Facebook community, and we would love to see you there. So check the description of this episode for the link to register. So everyone, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Love and gratitude, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you so much for checking out today's episode. If you could, please support this podcast by hopping over to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or any place that you're listening to this. Leave us a rating and review. Let us know what you loved most and what you would like to hear more of. But also, if you would like to learn how to take your business to the next level, whether it's using LinkedIn or working directly with myself and Nancy in our intimate group coaching programs, you can head over to www.thetimetogrowth.com or scottaaron.net to learn more. Thank you again for your support, love and gratitude, and I'll talk to you soon.